Hello everyone. Welcome to Computer Graphics Lessons 2, where we will start using Unity. So we're going to continue working in its workspace, navigating it, kind of just exploring by yourself. But we're also going to start working on our first project called Player Control. So a little recap. So a scene basically is a scene of game objects that shows like a set of things that a player can see. So, and then obviously like the objects are like just basically any items in the game. So this could be like the light source, the camera, your characters, any details that you have, those are objects. And assets are like any files or file in the project that includes like all the objects, the scene files, and the code. And your hierarchy like shows like the structuring of your game objects within the scene and enables nesting. So we're going to start our Unit 1 player control project, and we're going to start with our first lesson where it's called Start Your 3D Engines, if you're following along with the Unity Learn platform. And yes, we're going to work with like player control, camera movement, and just like general object physics. And then after this this whole unit project, there is a challenge called plane programming where it has multiple moving parts, crash detection, and multiple scenes. So working with this project will kind of help you, work with that challenge and complete it. But that will probably come later on unless you want to explore that further on your own. And of course, solo, you can just continue working on this project after today, or just exploring it, Unity in general. And so we're going to start with physics. And so each object in the game, it has its own physics. But there are also like global physics that apply to all the objects in the scene. And we code these physics to the objects by giving them scripts, which are written in C#. And don't worry, we will walk you through all that as we work on this first project. So first, we're going to get started with our project. First, I'm going to create a folder and put my Unity project in it. And I am actually following along in the project setup process in Unity Learn. So it'll kind of tell you how to do it. So we're going to open up Unity Hub. All right. And then we're going to go project version. Yeah, so for this project, we're going to be using a 3D template. So you'll select 3D here. And then the editor version I'm using is like 2023, 27. And then for this project, we name it prototype. And I'm just storing it in. Now Unity will just open the project. So while the project is opening, we can actually start by importing our assets. So for this project, we'll need to import assets. So if you go into the Learn Unity platform and you click on Unit 1 Player Control, and you click on Lesson 1.1, and if you scroll to Step 2, you'll see that it says click to download the prototype on starter files. So I'm just going to click that. I'm going to download it. Check on this. All right. Now I'm just going to go to Downloads. And then I am going to extract them. So extract all, and it's just going to extract it into a folder there. That's what you want to have. So now once the project opens up, we can import it. Perfect. So now we are going to import the asset that we just downloaded into this project. So we're in our Unity editor window. We're going to go to the top menu, assets, and then we're going to say import package, custom package, and then you're just going to go where you downloaded. Just going to open it. I'm just going to click import. So now in the assets window, which in the project assets window, you're going to see this called scenes. And then we're going to double click on the prototype 1 scene to open it. You kind of just want to delete the sample scene. So I'm just clicking on sample scene, I right clicked on it and I'm just deleting it. Yeah. So now you have the prototype 1 scene. I think mine's still loading. So. But yeah, this is, if you click on the game window, you'll kind of see that it's like a road and then it's like a nice background. Yeah, there we go. So now we're going to start by adding our vehicle to the scene. So again, you want to go to this assets folder right below, and you're going to click on course library, and you're going to go to vehicles. Okay, and now you have like these few options, and then you're just going to like click on whichever one you want. So you can kind of like, if you click on it, you can kind of see on the right side like what it looks like. And then you can just choose one that you like. I'm going to go with this one, and you're kind of just like going to drag it to the scene. Yeah. All right, so I just changed the perspective. My computer was lagging, so yeah, I just went to this side and I clicked on the right perspective, and then you have to select the hand tool right here to kind of be able to like move around. Yeah, so now I can see the road, I see the vehicle, nothing else changed. Yeah, and now if you hold right click and you press like WSD, you kind of like move around. So W moves me forward and so on and so forth. Yeah. So now if you click on the vehicle now, you can see all the different positions and rotations and stuff. And if you press F, you kind of focus in on it. Yeah, so that is kind of just working with the, thing. And of course, focus on the vehicle right now. Yeah. All right. Here we are. I'm just gonna hold right click and press S to kind of zoom out of it. And now we're gonna add an obstacle and reposition it. So I didn't explain what this project was. Basically, this vehicle is kind of gonna like move through this road, and there are gonna be like a bunch of obstacles, and you're just trying to like hit it or avoid it, depending on your perspective, like depending on your interest. But yeah, so again, we're gonna go back into our assets folder. So and course library. So assets course library, and you're gonna click obstacles. And now there are different types. So there's a barrel, there's a crate, there's a prop barrier, prop cone, etc. And you can kind of just, you're just gonna like drag an obstacle that you want to the scene. So I'm just gonna move down the road a little bit, and I'm just gonna add a crate. And you can add how many you want, but right now I guess I'm just adding one. So now just click on the obstacle. Kind of, we're here now. So in the inspector, if you look on the top right of the transform component, here we are. You're going to click the 3 dots, and then you're going to get like reset, and you're going to go to reset position. So once again, we clicked on the obstacle, we went to transform, because it opens up the inspector menu. We're gonna go to transform, and click the three dots, and we're gonna click reset position. And now you can kind of change the position to whatever you want. So they have 0, 0, 0. We're gonna change the Z to 0, I mean to 25. That's kind of gonna put it in the middle. Yeah. And now if you look, position 0, 0, 25. So now in the hierarchy, you can see that we have crate 1, and then we have like vehicle. So we're just gonna like rename our objects like vehicle and obstacle. So we're gonna right click on crate 1, and then you're gonna rename, just rename that obstacle. So this kind of just like helps you know like what it is, you know. So before we move on to the next step, I am going to actually, you see how the crate is like in the middle of the road? I placed my vehicle kind of on the left side, or right side, I mean. So I'm just going to select the vehicle. But before that, let me change perspective. Yeah, let me look like that. There we go. So now we're looking at the back perspective, and now I'm going to click on the vehicle, and I'm just going to kind of like slide it. So this moves it, you know, left or right. So in the X direction, so we're moving X or left or right. So I'm kind of just gonna move it kind of like in the middle of the road. That way it's kind of like in alignment with the obstacle. And then once again, I'm just gonna come back to the right perspective. And there we go. Now, oops. Click, zoom out. There we go. Now we see the vehicle and the obstacle. So now we're gonna work with the camera. So if you see in the hierarchy, you'll see like main camera. You just wanna click on the main camera, and then you're gonna press F to kind of focus in on it, or like capital F. So you want to do like Shift F, and that'll focus in on the camera. And now if you press the play button, so this is a camera window by the way, but if you press the play button, it'll kind of like run the game. And press play to stop it. So obviously nothing's moving right now, but when you click play, it immediately shows you the camera perspective. So as you can see, this is like the camera perspective right now. And when you press play again, it stops it. So this little window is also the camera perspective. So while you're working with the camera, you can kind of see like where to position it depending on what you want the player to see. So now to like view the game properly, we're actually going to move the camera behind the vehicle and make it look like it's looking down. So what we want to do, go back to these 4 arrows, right? And okay. In camera. Okay, so I'm gonna move it back like that, like so. So kind of like behind. But now obviously to go behind the vehicle, let me change my perspective. Let me down. Yeah, so now in the Z direction, which is the blue arrow, we're just gonna move it up a little bit with the yellow arrow, the green arrow, which is the Y direction. And yeah, so now that I'm a little bit closer to the vehicle, when I change the perspective, I should be able to like see the camera. Yeah, so zoom out. There we go. That's the perspective I wanted. So now we're gonna go back. Put it behind. Change my perspective again, zoom out. Oops. Yeah, so now you can kind of see like the camera view. I'm just kind of like adjusting it until I like see the whole world, if that makes sense. Alright, so now obviously you can see I kind of moved the camera behind the vehicle, but it's kind of looking off to the side. So now what you want to do is actually rotate the camera so we can actually see it, make the camera look towards the road. So we're gonna go to the little circle arrow thing right next to the hand and move tool. It's called the rotate tool. And now if you see, whoops, let me, yeah, now you can kind of see that the lines that we had turned into like these little half circles that kind of like allow us to rotate the camera. To get like a better perspective, I'm just gonna switch my whole scene perspective to the top view, which is the Y. Yeah, and then I'm just gonna zoom out and then kind of adjust a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Again, I'm gonna click on the camera, get right behind the vehicle, and now I'm gonna go to the rotate tool, and I'm just kind of gonna rotate the camera in the Y direction. So I can kind of, and if you notice, as I was doing that, the main camera views changed. You see how you can like see the road now? And that's kind of what we want. We can make it look up or down. So obviously I want to be able to see the obstacle, but you know, you can't see it in this, right? So I'm gonna move back to the move tool and kind of move up a little bit. Yeah, obviously the obstacle's like far away, but if you can see it's like right there. Move back to the rotate tool, kind of make it look down. There we go. Mine's a little angled, but that should be it. So let's go back to this front side or side perspective. All right, I'm just gonna, oops, okay. There we go. So, okay, there we go. So if you can see the camera is now up and it's tilted down towards the road. So now when I click play, it should show the camera view and you can see the vehicle and you can see the obstacle, and that's kind of what you want. Now obviously you can adjust this to your liking, but this is kind of like a general view of what the camera should show. So now the last kind of thing we're going to do for this lesson, for this project today, is we're just going to like customize like our interface layout. So we're going to go to the top right and then change the layout, if you can see it here. Oh, let me stop playing it. All right. To tall. Wow, it changed it, right? And then we're going to move the game view beneath the scene view. So I'm going to the game view right now, and I'm just going to kind of like move it below the scene view. So now this kind of just allows you to kind of like see the game view and the scene view at the same time instead of like switching tabs or clicking play. And so when you're like moving the camera around, it just makes it easier because you can kind of like see it while you're moving the camera instead of like seeing it in that tiny like camera window that we saw earlier, like in the scene view right here. And now we're gonna go to the project window and we're gonna click on the three little dots. And we're gonna choose one column layout. So this will kind of just like give us one column. So when you click like the course library, it just opens it up, you know, yeah. And then, yeah, you're just gonna work with this like column view, which is easier. And then in the drop down, we're just gonna say, we're gonna go back to the tall thing and we're gonna say save layout. And you can call it like UI layout. So this will just help us while we continue working on the project to make it easier to work with our view and stuff. But yeah, so that was lesson 1, where we kind of just placed objects, worked with, the perspectives, kind of adjusting the position, and of course we started working with the camera too. So yeah, we even learned how to import assets. We added objects to our scene, and of course we learned about scene view versus the game view. As you can see here, scene view, game view. And then we kind of just continue working on with the layout, like the project, the inspector, the hierarchy. And now we learned how to use the move and rotate tools, and now we're navigating our 3D space. We customized our layout. Yeah, so as we continue on with this project, we're actually going to even work with the C# coding that I mentioned earlier, which will basically code the vehicle to make it move and collide with the obstacle that we put. Now, some things you can work on, while you're waiting for our next lesson. So we only added one object in the scene. You can add multiple. You can just continue adding more objects, which I think would honestly be more fun. You can do different types of objects and kind of put them in a zigzag pattern. You can kind of just play around with it. You can move the vehicle around, rotate the vehicle or the obstacle, kind of like what we did with the camera, just to get more comfortable with the tools. And if you have any questions or need extra help, you can always ask us, or you can go to the Unity Learn platform, click on Unit 1 Player Control, and they'll have video tutorials as well. But that's it for today's lesson. Thank you so much.